So I will talk to you about one of piece featuring in our booth. It's an artwork from an artist called Mounir Fatmi. He's a Moroccan artist born in 1970. He lived between France and Morocco. And we are quite lucky to have him on our booth today because he's a really important artist, but was also an artwork from the same series that is in the Louvre, Abu Dhabi right now. That's opened yesterday. We are the 10th of November 2017, and for the inauguration of the Louvre, you can see one of this series from this artist in the Louvre. So Mounir Fatmi is an artist that works a lot with media, generally speaking. That's to say with photo, with video, but also he has worked with VHS tape, with some installation, some big installation features some VHS tape, some printers, some TV. And here we have a series that he started about 20 years ago maybe. It's a recurrent element in his work. It's some coaxial cable that is used for antenna TV.
Yes.
So it's quite interesting because this cable has been so important for a while at the end of the 20th century, and it's already becoming obsolete. That's a device we don't need anymore really because it has been replaced by a wireless. You can watch TV on your phone, and you don't need the traditional way of transmitting images. I'm going to talk now about French artist Claude Viala. Claude Viala is 82 years old. He's born in 1936. He's one of the artists we have shown from the very first exhibition at the gallery in 2006. He's a French artist, very well known in many important collections such as Centre Pompidou, MoMA, and many museums around the world, in Europe, in Asia. He's well known because he repeats one single shape, and from 66 he has been painting this shape over and over again on every of his painting. So the concept is that in these years that were in the 60s, that were very agitated years for art movement, art theories, there was many minimal movements were born in these years, such as Arte Povera, minimal art, or maybe in Asia, Monoa or Gutai. And one movement called BMPT, it was Buren, Mosset, Parmentier, Toroni, was saying at the time that they will paint the last painting because it was very difficult. To their mind, it was impossible to continue to paint because after all the avant-garde of the 20th century, basically they were saying that everything has been done. And so Viala say, with other members of Groupe Support Surface, but here we will focus on Viala, they say, maybe you're wrong, maybe we have to start from the scratch again, maybe we have to do like the first art gesture in the world was the caveman who put his hand on the wall and make a print, or he just put his hand on the wall and by blowing some mud around his hand, he was doing the negative of the shape of his hand. So Viala, you can see here one example, you have a scene, and here another one, and you have the shape and the negative. And so this is basically really the start of the composition, of choosing what you are going to paint. So he chose to this very natural shape that is nothing, it's not political, it's not commercial, it's not religious, it means absolutely nothing, and that's perfect for the purpose of the artist because he don't want really to care about what he's painting, he really want to care about the composition, about which color it will use, he will use, which the way of paint, is it slow, is it very quick, does the fabric absorb the painting or does the fabric reject the painting? So this is many questions we can ask in work of art. And as it doesn't need to do figuration, he chose to get rid of the stretcher, the traditional stretcher that you have behind the work of art here has disappeared. And so it allows him to do a very freer kind of work. on any kind of fabric he found or people bring to him, and so he can just focus on the composition. So that's why sometimes the original color of the fabric is still here on the canvas, is still visible. It doesn't try to put another color on it, and basically just accept the kind of fabric people bring to him, and he managed to do with that a very efficient and powerful work of art with a very minimalist intervention from his hand. So he has been actually quite successful in this theory, because he has begun his work in the 66, and we are now 51 years after that, and he's still doing that. So I think he's proving that you can paint the same shape over and over again, but never do twice the same painting. So probably we can still paint forever.
That's the most I can give you right now.
this work that we're looking at right now is from my stacked series, and also it combines the kitabs in spike form. My work is related to books and books culture, and for me this painting, it's as if you're looking at the book not on the binding side, but on the side that has the foredge. That's the technical term for the edge of the very thin edge of the paper. And I've been using this material for a really long time. So over the course of making works, I come across accidents that become then opportunities for making work. So I had my stack of paper one day, for example, I was sitting there working on it, and I realized just stacking the paper itself created a surface that could be manipulated, could be used to create abstraction. I've kept the scale of this particular work to 11 inches wide because that's the unit measure for the material I use. But at the same time, it's a kind of a close size to an actual book or that we have in our daily lives. So it's a familiar size.
So you have a maybe specific name for this art?
I have a specific
name.
This one is called Love Reflected, I believe.
Maybe you can elaborate on that. Why Love Reflected? What was it?
Okay, it's actually the word Eshq in Farsi, Eshq reflected. Years ago when I first started using language in my work, I was looking at sections of poetry and using text as a way of making mark and drawing marks. And slowly over time, I reduced the language to one word. And this was inspired by poetry of Rumi and this idea that this one word that's 3 letters in Farsi, I think at the core is what we kind of exist for. We are willing to live and die by this sort of passion, which is the definition of the word Eshq. And once that content, I figured it out, that this is the word I want to play with. The rest of it is just me as an artist playing visually with the structure of the word. It lends itself beautifully to being repeated, to being used in a grid form or in concentric circles. So I just find it a really interesting and concise, close form to play with graphically. You're so welcome.
This is the solo presentation of Sheikha Al-Mazroua's work at Abu Dhabi Art Fair. She is a young artist whose practice orientates itself around the process of creating sculpture and finding balance within it. This series is called Ironic Experiments, which seeks to look at finding a balance in sculpture, which is the central occupation of all sculptors, in that if you do not have a correct balance, obviously the sculpture does not work. It's ceramic. This piece, Ironic Experiments 2, is a collection of separate ceramics which have been molded individually. And they are sitting on top of one another in such a way that they balance together without anything sticking them or holding them internally. So they're all individually hollow pieces.
So this is the 9th year I'm coming here each year. So I'm presenting what I present in the gallery, which is some contemporary artists that we did the first show in France. These are 2 Iranian artists called Payback. They are working together on the same canvas. Payback is Payman and Babak, a contraction of their 2 first names. Then you have another contemporary artist, British artist, Keith Tyson, who is now working on the subject of the flower, but which give him which allow him to talk about paintings and to practice different kind of paintings, from old paintings until more contemporary. And then you have what we bring also each year, it's more historical artists, especially the one from the French avant-garde of the 60s. Then you have Mounir with the big smash box, which is an exceptional piece from 1966 and an iconic in a way from that period, this idea of the pop art, and also iconic from the artists, because he used to do some other works using this idea of matchbox, but that size make it totally stronger and iconic. Then another Swiss artist, Peter Stampfli, who it seems that it's an abstract painting, but in fact this artist was totally obsessed by the trace of the wheels on the road. So this is a work from the 70s, 71, and the geometrical form that you see are the traits of the wheel. So this is a very rare work of Jean Tinguely. Jean Tinguely is a Swiss artist also, and is in a way giving life to very common objects. We are in 1962, and in fact he's taking a motor, an old motor, which was probably from a bicycle, then using some irons and very common objects like toys or furs. And when you activate it, so the object started to live. And you have one piece by Tinguely which shown at the Louvre Abu Dhabi.
Hello, sir. How is the evening? How was the exhibition?
Exhibition is great, beautiful. It is amazing. I never seen an exhibition like this, to be honest. Really.
So you are inspired.
Everything is great. I can give it 10 out of 10.
So I can't say nothing more. I think everybody today is inspired and fulfilled with the art and the culture.
This is like it's like a university.
It is, without like.
I learned a lot from this art. There are things I never like. Sarah, I know a lot of things. Starting from this beautiful dress.
Was attracted to the dress.
And hairstyle, haircut, everything is amazing.
That's amazing. It's always the people who are involved in art. They can bring you some new inspirations to create, to make this world a better place.